Okay, so this is the bridge, and they're almost done. They got to get the barriers down through here, okay, and down through here as well. And they're almost done to the point where on the 14th, we're going to be using the bridge. They put the lines here. You see the lines are here. They put the lines on the other side. And we are today, what I'm doing today is I'm heading to the downtown area. I'm basically doing my morning bike ride. I should say, it sounds like I do it every morning. I don't. I try to get in 4 to 5 a week. And I hit the gym every day for 5 days a week, just for a little bit. I actually have a trainer who helps me. He's helped me make some huge strides in a little bit of time. If you guys are curious how I lost about 60 pounds and then put about 15 pounds of muscle back on at the age of 60, there's a little formula to it, and it works. It's pretty easy. If you've never heard of metabolic syndrome and you're starting to get arthritis and stuff like that, I'd love to tell you about my journey on that. So, but anyway, we're heading down the road here, and I'm gonna flip them. There you go. It's a little bit after 6. We just put up our Remove It Pros video. Claudia and I are working together on a channel. Her and I've been together for about 4 months now. And we're going to be doing this We Love Fort Myers Beach channel together. And let's talk about some things that are going on the beach. The recall election happened, and Woodson and King both lost that. Although I think King's situation is he wasn't even, I don't think, geez, I didn't follow it close enough to really know the details on it. I think it's a shame that this situation happened. I don't know what really happened. I'm a little frustrated about the fact that we got such a big problem here on the beach. And we got this, I don't know, I'm going to call it childish infighting is what I'm going to call it. It's unnecessary. If the same energy was used to go in the right direction, it would be really cool. Now, you know, if I lived on the Denora and was going to be in the shadow of that big building, and that's not what I bought when I bought there, I probably would have the same issue that these guys have that are down there. So kind of understand both directions. It's funny seeing all these newer appliances out on the road here. There's one by my house, and the normal junk guys must not be, sorry about that. The normal junk guys must not be running their routes. So this light that I have on my bike is 900 lumens. It's kind of like a high beam bicycle light, and it's not for any other reason than the fact that I'm practically night blind. So look at all these new buildings that are out here. That one's redone. They redid these right here on the right. There's people living in those. We're about three years and 1 month, I think. Let's see, September, October, yeah, 3 years, 1 month past Ian. And then again, we had Debbie. No, let's see, we had Ian, Adalia, Debbie, Milton, Helene, all within 28 months. It was hard. This complex right here, this green one here in front of me, Milton and Ian really hit this hard. And then Milton came in and gave it another whack. I don't think it got anything in Helene. A lot of these high rises, like this one back here, you see this one right here with the Rockford signs on it. It's still being worked on, and that's from Hurricane Ian. Now they're getting there. If you look at it, they got new windows, and they got new. They've been. I seen them bring all the furniture and stuff out. I'm not sure. There's been a lot of drywall there. I'm not sure what they're doing, if they're completely redoing this one. They've done that on several of these. This one here, the Shamron Beach, it looks like they're back up and running. Even the buildings that are up and running, some of them still have things that they're dealing with. Gosh, I can't remember what the one guy was telling me. So, morning. So this building here, they got a late start working on it. They don't seem like they're diligently working on it. They certainly don't have a lot of stuff here. Now this building here, they just started cleaning it up. It really looked like a train wreck for a long time. So they just cleaned the front of it up here, and it's been partially occupied since right after Ian. So I'm not sure. I don't understand why some of these buildings, nobody was in them, and some of these buildings were partially occupied. So this Riviera Club, as you can see, we're in season. October's here, so we're in season. The traffic's already picked up. Waited in about a half hour's worth of traffic last night in order to go over the bridge to the new Bonita Bills restaurant, which I highly recommend. It's very, very nice. And so Leonardo Arms had a hard time getting their electric. They did finally get it, and they're open. They've also got plenty of sand in front of them so that the beach is not, or the ocean is not getting up underneath their buildings like it was. I'm gonna run back in here to show you. I'm gonna start my beach bike ride from here. So this pink building here, they were ready to open it up when Milton hit it again. So, morning. So this building here, they finally got it up and running. It looks like they redid pretty much the whole thing. I don't know that for a fact. I'm only a spectator here in this sport. We own a demolition company. We do primary and interior demolition work. And Ian hit, and we decided to go ahead and step into the, so if you feel the difference, the sand here, doesn't seem like it's the right sand. One of the things when they did the beach renourishment, they were very careful about using the same composition of sand. And somehow they were able to find that offshore about 1.5 miles at the other end of the beach. Yeah, this is the building I was talking about. This one here, they were ready to move into it, and Milton came in and undermined the whole first floor. So it undermined all the concrete, so they had to pull all that out, rerun their plumbing, and put it back together. So I would hope, got a different contractor on it now, I would hope that they're gonna be in here soon. Now, all of these buildings here, it's called, I think it's called the Estero Beach Tennis Racket Club or something like that. So, but they're a bunch of little studios, and they've been open pretty long. So some of these places I guess they just didn't get hit as hard. So all of those are open, but then you look down there, those white ones right there, these two, they're still not open. Or if they are open, they're partially open. So this is your beach renourishment. If you looked at some of my other videos, right now I would be standing in the water. So all of this beach here has all been added since Ian. So, but it's not just Ian, because Ian pushed a bunch of sand onto the island and across the island into the bays. And then Helene did the same thing. Milton did the same thing. Debbie, a little bit. Dahlia, not much at all. A lot of wind with the Dahlia. So, so at any rate, this is all new, and it was all pumped from 6 miles down the beach, and they ran heavy equipment on the whole beach for, geez, I don't know how long it was, maybe a year and a half, pretty long. It was pretty impressive to see, honestly, really impressive to see. So we have a very, very low tide event today, and that makes for some really excellent beach riding. So again, right there, that white building, those white buildings right there, they are not occupied. That's a lot of units. So hopefully, I know they're working on them big time. Same thing with this white complex here, not open yet either. So the Sanderac, they got 2 of their buildings open. One of them must have got hit harder than the other ones. I'm not sure if they're not using the 3rd building or not, but I noticed it doesn't look like it's, it looks like they're working on it in a big way. I don't know if it's occupied or not. A lot of people will talk about the old pier on Fort Myers Beach. I don't know the story behind it, but this is that. When the water is up here, the water level typically is right here. The water's lapping back and forth right here. So you can see how much water, and this is gonna bounce. By the way, the gimbal works really good on this phone, but when you're on a really bumpy surface, which some of the beach is gonna be, you're gonna have it bouncing all over the place. Morning. So that's one of the photographers. So I just learned this week that one of my neighbors has a bald eagle living. They have a nest in his tree in front of his house. And that's right by the lagoon where I live. And I find that very interesting. I've seen an eagle right here on the beach before several times in the past. And I didn't realize it lived so close. I know that there is one that lives over by Flippers on the other side of Lover's Key, because I've seen him a bunch of times hanging out on the signs out there. Again, please pardon the bumpy road here. So I don't know if you guys know much about YouTube or not. Every day I learn something new about it. It's a whole new ball game. It's kind of fun. It's kind of interesting. I love doing this. This is my little hobby. We have a demolition company called Remove It Pros. And I was doing multiple things on that one channel. And what happens is the algorithm, or the AI, is a machine. And the machine takes directions, but needs very specific directions. So what I was doing, I was running the hurricane content and these beach bike rides and our demolition and our selective demolition and the stuff for our resale store all on the same channel. Well, what was going on, and our channel, for as young as it is doing very well. We're like 56,000 subscribers, which puts you in the top 1% on YouTube if you don't know that. But we're not anywhere near what we could be, especially with the kind of interesting stuff that we do with our channel. But at any rate, the reason that this channel was started, and Claudia and I are doing it together, is because I was serving up, it's like flavors of ice cream. Think about it that way. I was serving up too many flavors of ice cream to the same people, and most people only like 1 or 2 flavors. So that's the problem that was going on. So it was hurting our main channel. So We spun this off, and we're just starting to do more and more. We love Fort Myers Beach. We're really committed to its recovery. I'm pretty excited to live here now. I was excited before, but I'm pretty excited now. I like the new stuff that's coming in. I also miss the cottages and stuff too. Lived in one of them for 2.5 years. So, morning.
Morning.
So it's kind of mind-blowing how far out these tides can go. I mean, look at how far that out is. Normally the tide is right here. I mean, not the tide, but the where the water is coming up to the beach. So look how far out it is. Isn't that something? Never get sold for me. Riding my bike on the beach. Typically I work from home. We doing the YouTube stuff. I'm marketing for my Remove It Pros company, and Reuse It Pros, our resale company. And I normally use the bike rides to break up the day and because I don't sit down very well, break up the day and get my energy back, and then I can do some more. And I love what I do, so don't think I'm working really hard because I hate it or something. I don't. I like it a lot. It's actually a lot of fun. And so anyway, I'm trying to avoid the bumpy areas with the Osmo here. When I talk about the Osmo, it's called the Osmo 3. It's a DJI camera. They're really awesome. The movies that you watch on TV and the 65-inch TVs all come from this. Morning. So I've been told that we're one of the few beaches where you can have dogs. See dogs out here a lot. On the south end, a lot of times they're not on their leashes and stuff because there's not very many people down here. It's funny, a lot of the people that do come down and take their dogs off the leashes, the other end of the beach, they seem to be the kind of dogs that people don't want to be around. So, what do you think about electric bikes? You think we should be allowed to have electric bikes on the beach? So, that's another thought. Now, let's think about that for just 1 second. The electric bikes on the beach, if you've ever seen what the electronics, like from my house and from different houses that we've cleaned up, the electronics that just got salt water on them one time, how they corrode up and they're just practically worthless, and they don't even work at all within a very short period of time. And then you think about bringing a $1,000 to $5,000 electric bike down here on the beach. Boy, if you get it wet, I don't know, man. I don't know how well sealed they are. But I'll tell you what, that'd be an expensive lesson to learn. I got a little bit of a cold right now. So we're not quite to the Mid-Island. I consider Mid-Island Publix. I've never really measured it to see if that is the actual Mid-Island. But the blue buildings there, those are right next to Publix. That's how I tell where we're at. So, Bonita Bills, I can't remember what the name of the place was that they bought out, but basically, Doc Ford's, let me think of what it was. It was on the little coaster on my table yesterday. What was that? But anyway, they own a bunch of restaurants. They used to own the Whale too. And they sold that off to Dawn and I think it's Mike. Good morning. So right before the storm, and then they got creamed. So He's opening up here in about 4 or 5 days. So that's going to be exciting. That's another win. There have got to be 200 new houses. There may be more, I don't know. The beach, if you come down here and you used to drive down the Estero Boulevard and you were frustrated because you couldn't see the beach, well, until they build it all back up, guess what? There are a lot of places to park. There's a lot of places where you can actually see the water from Estero Boulevard, which is way cool. So this is that lady right there. This is a Shellapalooza. Very exciting thing. I'm always trying to not run over the nice shells. This time of the day, there's going to be all kinds of shells that got pushed in overnight, and it's really a beautiful thing. So that building right there just opened up. When I say that building right there, let me do this again, where you can actually see it. Okay, that building right there, that is they rent that one out. That's a brand new house, and they're getting pretty close to being done with that. But that just opened back up. These buildings down here in the middle took a real beating. The one with the blue roof, and the one with the red roof, and the two next to it. And then there's multi-million-dollar homes in between. Those buildings took a real beating, and they must have had the right insurance on them because, or they got huge assessments, whichever. They are, the ones with the blue roof, they literally stripped them all the way back to nothing, and they are, they're pretty much brand new buildings other than the concrete walls. And if you notice on the top of the building, they put all the HVAC systems up there. Whoever did this one, they were thinking long term. I see some of the buildings still have their HVAC systems that are ground level. Talked to my one buddy who helped out his condominium association get straightened out a little faster. He said that the insurance company wouldn't pay to put them on top. So this year we missed the hurricane, pretty much the whole thing. We have a cold front coming in right now, and they're marking this as I'm hearing the weathermen call this the end of our hurricane season. So I'm hoping. But look how beautiful this is. Morning. So there's the culprit. There's the full moon that's pulling on this water. So this blue building here is the one I'm talking about. The red one next to it, they rebuilt most of that one too, but it's a much smaller project. One building with the green trim on it, we worked on that one. We helped them clean the debris out of underneath it so that they could give it a proper inspection to see whether or not they were going to have to tear it down or not. This other one is also, both of these, from what I understand, are timeshares. So, along with the one that's right next to the Diamond Head that they finally got an approval on. So the city of Fort Myers Beach is, let's just put it this way, they're dealing with a lot. A lot of people that are upset, a lot of people, how a hurricane affects you if you're okay, let's say you worked at the post office for 30 years and you retired and you got a pension and your mom or dad left you a house on Fort Myers Beach. You come down here and you're making X amount of dollars a month. Well, You may not make enough money to afford a $500,000 loan to renovate your house after a hurricane hit it, or even be able to afford to be able to fix. Morning. So those guys, I see them all the time. They're early morning people. They either do that or they ride their bikes. I see them in front of my house. They come down there. That's the end of their bike ride, and they see the sunset. Early risers. I wish I didn't have this 60-year-old mind and could remember their names, because I talk to them all the time, and I'm very, very embarrassed about that. I really do remember names pretty decent, but I'm failing in this situation. So right here, okay, this was Newton Park. There was a park here for people. There's bathrooms and stuff here. There was parking here. And then that's where the Strand View was. And then those two blue buildings there, one of my editors, he was in those. He came down here, came from California, and he stayed. He didn't have any place to go. He stayed in his parents' condo there and got trapped on the island for a while. They didn't have a place to go. So they got kind of stuck here. And he actually watched the storm. He was talking about, you could feel the cars pounding into the building and stuff, being up on the 4th floor. So this white building here looks like it's occupied now. It took a while for that one to get rolling. So all of this that you're seeing in front of you was between 50 and 100 feet of this was pushed onto the road. And the rules state that in order to bring it back to the beach, they have to clean it first. And what they do by cleaning it is they send it through a screeding machine. A screeding machine basically separates material like at a gravel yard. And what they do is they use that to get the glass and the debris and just anything they don't want in it, the bricks, the rocks, all that kind of stuff. And then they truck it back over here and dump it on the beach. Well, we had already Dan Allers had been working on this for a long time about getting us reclassified so that this was not a natural beach anymore, and it was going to be man-made. An engineered beach is what he called it, if I remember correctly. So what he did is he did Fort Myers Beach a favor. Now it's not such a big deal to have sand brought in after these storms. Before that, because it was a natural beach, there was a lot more hoops you had to go through. So, I mean, what a wonderful day on the beach. Isn't it beautiful? It's about 69 degrees. So this is what I love seeing, is the families. The kids are so excited because they're at the beach. It's kind of like Christmas for them. They wake mom up early. Mom's out here in her PJs typically. Dad's back home in bed. Typically, not all the time. Now these two right here are brand new builds. These two, let me think of who built those. Oh, what's his name? Randy Stam. Let me think of the name of their company. Property Medic is the name of them. They've been here a long time. They lived across from the Beach Baptist Church for a long time. Huge family, Christian guys, girls. And they apparently do a good job, because they've got probably 10% maybe of the new builds going on here. And a lot of it's the fancy stuff. So I know Randy was a builder up in Ohio. What I've heard about them is they're priced at a fair price, and I hear they do a good job. They really care. And Randy's, he's teaching the kids. He's teaching kids trades and stuff. He's taking the extra time, the extra effort. A a lot of the guys, they're just using the 50, 60-year-old guys to do their work. And the kids are not getting any training. So he's got a heart for that. He's got a bunch of kids too. And he's got a whole battalion of them. Morning. So Claudia and I have been hanging out for about 4 months now, and we're going to be doing a bunch of these videos. She had a pretty good size Instagram following, and then poof, one day her Instagram page was gone. Morning. All right, so this is what the beach looks like at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Friday morning. So 6 o'clock this afternoon, it'll be, well, not 6 o'clock, let's say 4 o'clock. There'll be beach chairs and lawn chairs and tents and everything else all the way down the beach. And a lot of people, seems like our season, which starts in October, seems like our season has gotten more robust earlier this year. Good morning. So it's awesome. It's good stuff. We need it. 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 So, so all the different places to eat here: Snug Harbor, 5 stars. La-di-da. I like Margaritaville. The servers are not the greatest. I don't know. I get a lot better service than most other places. We eat there a lot. They have a veggie burger, and that's something Claudia really likes. But I don't know. Some of the serving is bizarre, just bizarre. The rest, I mean, I love going to Margaritaville. That would be my only issue is some of the guys that they have that are serving. They don't understand the basics of serving. You know, like when you bring your meal, bring them a new drink. You know, top their drink off. Don't disappear for 20 minutes. That kind of stuff. So let's go. Let's talk about. By the way, Margaritaville Class Act, they got it going on. I'm so glad they're here. The Tiki Bar is just killing it. It's kind of like the only kind of nightclub-ish place. I think Mr. Blue Wave is a karaoke, kind of the younger crowd. The Tiki Bar is kind of the older crowd. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the whale opening up, because there's only so many people here. So we're hoping it's just going to bring more people to the island. That's what we're hoping. So let's see, Snug Harbor, probably my favorite. That's because I can just sit right next to the water and watch the dolphins and stuff while I eat. Wahoo Willie's, another favorite. I got a lot of favorites. SOBs, Snug Harbor, SOBs, and Wahoo Willie's are all managed by the same group of guys. I don't know how they have their ownership split up, but their food in all of them is great. I like the food at SOBs the most, and that's because I'm typically getting black and grouper with broccoli, and that's just to try to stay thinner. And they do a really good job with their food. The shipwreck's been open for a long time. He took out all those cottages behind his building there, those old rundown cottages. I don't know if they were run down or not, but took them down, and he's got, he put in parking back there. So there's a lot more parking down in that area. Fort Myers Beach, if you're a resident, they just put out $50 per sticker for you to get a sticker. You can park, pretty much from what I understand, you can park anywhere where they got those little city placards on the whole beach. So I went down and spent that money because I'm always sneaking my car in somewhere. So just for fun, okay, let me get a little bit closer. I used to live here for 2.5 years. I used to eat, when we started Remove It Pros, at the Gulf Shore Grill, probably 5 days a night, 5 nights a week. I used to eat there. Remember when they had the salad bar? At any rate, I lived there. Nancy lived in the front building, okay, the blue one, and I lived in the green one. Of course, it wasn't the green one back then. It was an old 1950s cottage. My son and I lived there for, oh gosh, long time, 2.5 years. And we used to park our trucks over across the street behind Tops until we got too many trucks. And we kept praying that we were going to get a good building and someplace where we were close to the highway and midway between Fort Myers and Naples. Most of our business is in Naples. That's where we do the best selective demolition stuff, or the biggest volume of it. Although we're doing it on Sanibel, Fort Myers Beach, Naples, typically the higher end stuff. The ones where the builders really value their time and they know that doing demo is not a good use of their time. Those are the guys that typically use us. We have a unique thing in our service where we bring all the tools. The guys get their lunch at breakfast time as a group. They all go to racetrack together, and then they eat their lunch on the job site, which makes us a lot more productive instead of these guys disappearing for multiple hours in the middle of the day and coming back, you know, brain dead from digesting the crazy food and the beers and stuff that they got at lunchtime, which is typically not, it's just not the way we do it. So we bring every tool we need so they're not running to Home Depot 3 times a day, and we bring the dump trailer with us. So as we do the demo, we are carting that stuff off every day with us, and it just keeps the job site cleaner, safer. And when we're done, we're going to call you up and say, hey, let's walk through this, make sure that we didn't forget anything, you didn't forget anything, and that everything's done to your satisfaction. And that is why I think we have so many Google reviews. So our nearest competitor, it's got like 55 or 60. We're just over, I think we're just at 1,100. So, and if you read the Google reviews, it's just like, you know, they cleaned up when they were done. This happened and we fixed it, and, you know, stuff like that. We're just golden rule business. When you call us, we actually call you back. And we don't call you back tomorrow in 3 days, we call you back right away. So stuff like that. Then we repurpose a lot. So we're taking out windows and doors, and when we take out kitchens and baths and stuff like that in these high rises that they're not very old, we take them back to our shop and we put them on Facebook Marketplace and on Craigslist, and we sell them. So we make a little bit of money. We give the client a little bit of a discount because of that. And we repurpose the stuff. So here's another thing. I'm gonna head to the street here in a minute. That right there is the Beach Bar. Now they're the first commercial building that got built from the ground up after Hurricane Ian. So they were the start of it. So there's plans going on for all kinds of stuff. The Kilwins building is going to go back in here shortly. He didn't go in there and try to build something that was outside of the code that what they're basically they're saying, look, we want you to build things this way. For one reason is we want to make sure that we're not overpopulating this island. The other thing is they are building to code so that FEMA doesn't have to keep funding these jobs over and over and over, these houses. So there you go. That is an example of why nobody drowns on Fort Myers Beach. Look at how shallow it is for how far out. I mean, isn't this beautiful? You see that bird right there? So that's the sunrise in our background. And I'm gonna flip back around here Now the Lani Kai is a different ball game. It's not, haven't been hearing anything about anybody getting shot or beat up or any of that kind of stuff like you used to. I heard it's a different thing altogether. I don't know that to be true, but that's what I heard. It's definitely fresh and new and clean. And if you look at it, look at the very top. You see that over there on that side, over here? Okay, now the Island View's always been there, okay? And that's a big, huge, beautiful restaurant, and the food was good. This over here was open, and the sun would beat on you and stuff like that. So they covered that whole thing up there. So that's a whole new thing. All the way down the beach, they put in plants. And these plants are, the idea with the plants, hopefully they survive, is to knock down the storm surge when it comes in and give the houses a chance. So we had a bunch of dialogue, a bunch of issues and problems with trailers, and it's typically not the homeowners that got a problem with. It's the people who take advantage of the situation and they bring in and let people rent and keep trailers on these lots in these multi-million-dollar neighborhoods, and they don't, FEMA doesn't like it because it's unsafe in the sense that if there's a hurricane, those things float around and they create all kinds of problems because they're beaten into the buildings. Well, FEMA wants you to build up, and then they want you to keep the floating debris off your island. That's Connex boxes, it's trailers, vehicles, anything. When a hurricane's headed in, they want you to get that stuff out of here. So what you're seeing in front of you is the whale, okay? And the whale is going to be open the 15th or 14th of November. Also, the bridge at the south end is going to be open on the 15th, or 14th, I'm sorry, 14th. So, two big things. Now, the bridge is only going to be partially open because they have to open it up, run traffic on it partially finished until they can tear the other bridge up and get it out of the way, because the one bridge overlaps the other one on the Fort Myers beach end. At any rate, this right here, dude, that's a lot. That's a lot. And I'm just wondering how the Tiki Bar is going to do. I don't know. There's going to be a loyal Tiki Bar following, but these guys right here, they bought this. They bought the old where Royal Scoop was, and they bought the old fire thing, and they're putting in top-notch places, each one of them. So, not sure what's going on with Surf's Club. I've heard several people say they were wanting to buy it. So this is Margaritaville here. This is the end-all be-all for right now. Thank God they were here. They really set a nice tone for the beach as far as what everything looks like coming from off of the bridge. If they weren't here, it would look, this whole area would look more like a train wreck than it does right now. The city's on everybody to get cleaned up. So I don't envy those guys that have got to answer those phone calls, because people have, they just don't have the money to fix these places up. They're retired people, and and they want to fix them up and they want to live here, but they can't afford it anymore. Now, by all accounts, they're wealthy as hell, but they have to sell their asset, their lot or their house, in order to afford to do anything. And then I don't know how it works when you're retired getting a loan for a major rehab. Like if you're going to rehab just a normal size house here, it's going to cost you $300 if you do it very, very frugally, and $500 or $600 in most cases, between hurricane windows and the way that you have to build your code. So where we're headed right now is we're headed down to Matanzas. Now I showed you the whale, and they're opening up in a couple days. Now Matanzas, they've been open all along. Their pizza part upstairs, I think it's called Petey's maybe or something. I don't know about that. I think that's what it's called. So anyway, they are open. And I've had dinner there a couple times. And again, the reason I like to eat here is the same reason I like to eat at Snug Harbor. You're right up against the water. You get to see what's going on in the water, see the boat traffic, so on and so forth. It's really cool. But these guys have really done it up good. It's a kind of a high-end restaurant, moderately priced, but for a high-end restaurant. But this is it over here. So they had their hotel rooms and stuff that were open pretty early on, but here it is right here. Now, yes, I recommend this a lot. A lot. Okay, now I'm gonna show you two more things. And I'm not gonna go over there because I don't wanna, I'm not allowed to ride my bike on the road right there. But they redid the traffic pattern coming onto the island, and we're gonna see how well it works. So what you see directly ahead of me is Bonita Bills. Now they just opened up. So Bonita Bills now, they own, the same owners own the Dixie, Bonita Bills, and they own Doc Ford's. So the tide's so far out, if you look over here, you see the sandbar. You see that all the way through here. So all of those fishing boats over there came over here and wiped out that complete trailer park after the hurricane. Isn't this beautiful? Look at this. Is that just a picture? So now there's another restaurant that opened up down there, all the way down there. Gosh, I don't know the name of it. It's next to Parrot Key, but they just opened up and or reopened up. It was a restaurant before, they just reopened up. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna run over here and show you I'm gonna show you, what has become our new Times Square. So this is Matanzas now. During season, I would say you probably should call and get a reservation. They're probably gonna be booked up. So if you're trying to figure out what's going on in Fort Myers Beach overall, the Junkanoo and the Fresh Catch moved behind Publix there. They bought out the bistro and they're over there, and great food, awesome place, very clean and great service. So Nervous Nellies, muy bueno. They're all opened up. Took them a little while to get open back up. That right there is Snug Harbor. Excellent food, excellent food. Right here, they have they used to have a band playing all the time on Fridays and Saturdays at the Times Square. And they do that here on Sundays at 4 o'clock, I believe. And then these tables and stuff over here is Snug Harbor servicing that. Snug Harbor bathrooms are inside this building here. Here's your parking, the never-ending parking, guys. Hi, good morning. So, and then Wahoo Willie's was put in right before Hurricane Ian, got damaged by Hurricane Ian, and got opened up pretty quick because they were so far along. And this area right here, this is the lowest part on the island. So this one gets about 2 foot of water in a king tide. If you notice the floor there and the floor there is raised. This place right here to the left is up for sale. I think he wants $8 million for that. It's John Ricard. Hopefully I'm saying his name right. He also owns the red building. He owns the shipwreck. Now, Smoke and Oyster, Wahoo Willie's, Snug Harbor, all run by the same group of guys. Now, I don't know how they split up their ownership. This Big Dick's Salty Seaman here is owned by the guy that owns Shipwreck. He's got both of these. The Yucatan's been open since, I don't know, I think they got open like immediately. So Surf Style ended up buying on both sides of the street up here. And they also opened up down on in the Santini Plaza. So there is temporary bathrooms in Lynn Hall Park. There literally has been nothing built back on Times Square yet. They've been trying to get some really huge designs built and put in, but nobody wants that. So they've been fighting them on that. So this kind of looks like hell here. So this right here is where Kilwins is going to be, right there. So this pizza place got opened up right away. This Cold Stone, I eat here a lot. I love their ice cream. So this is the other side of Margaritaville. This H2O, built to withstand hurricanes. Same thing with this Mr. Waves. They were opened up almost right away. So just kind of give me a brain dump. Right over there, they're going to tear down a bunch of those buildings over there that got damaged by the hurricane, and they're going to rebuild, and they got an approval for what they wanted to build. This Cold Stone here, these are my buddies, my ice cream buddies, and they've been open since the beginning. That building again was built to take the hurricanes. I'm not so sure what's going on with this here. There's been a lot of dialogue about this place. What is this called again? The La-Di-Da or something like that. La Ola. So they got quite a following, kind of a community thing going on. Pretty cool stuff. They got a place to eat here. This doesn't conform to what FEMA wants to see. They got a lot of conflicting things going on with that. Same thing with this Buffalo Grill. This is all temporary, but they got to be able to pick it up with a pickup truck, an ordinary pickup truck, and have it off the island within hours in order to be able to have their trailers here. Now this is our morning. This is the, I believe they're doing this. They're doing it multiple times a week. I'll find out how many times they're doing it a week. But this is their farmers market. They're doing it Times Square. So this right here to the right, I don't want to give them anything. All these little trailers can be here because they can be hauled away with an ordinary pickup truck in minutes, and that they're allowing it because of that. This is the Chamber of Commerce working out of this trailer here. And this parking lot here is owned by Terry Persott, and he used to own the Sunset Grill, which is right next door here. And all that stuff is, he's trying to rebuild. He came in with another plan. I don't remember if they approved it or not. I think it fits the criteria of what is allowed without having a public hearing. All right, so that's pretty much it. I gave you a quick tour, and I just did a brain dump off of what I remember and what's going on, the new stuff that's going on the beach. And we'll have this up on the site here in a few minutes.